The Ground and Pound Mark II from Lusithand. Does it crush or is it mush? Let's check it out. All right, now at the end of the video, there's another playing example that's going to be extended and has guitars in it, full production. I'm going to run the Ground and Pound into another amp and see what we get, and we are going to go full out metal on that one. So definitely stick around to check that out. If you can't wait, it's marked down there in the chapters. So I'm actually surprised to be checking out a new distortion pedal because honestly, I didn't think I'd be reviewing anymore. Let's face it, the market is stale. I'm bored to tears with it. You have two variables that are out there anymore. It's either yet another SVT clone because we don't have enough, and some type of spin on a Darkglass. You're not really getting anything original. So when Nuno at Lusithand reached out to me and explained what was behind his new distortion, and I had heard a little bit about it and what was in it, it actually caught me by surprise, and I'm really glad that he did reach out because this actually is something different. So let's go through and talk about a couple of the features here because some of them are kind of hidden under the hood, and by just looking at the pedal, you probably wouldn't get what's really going on in here and how much is actually put in. Now, this isn't an exact copy of a Rat, it's based on it. And up front, you can see you have kind of standard dials for the most part too. You've got a mix, you've got volume, you've got drive, how much distortion is coming in, all standard stuff. Now, once you get out of that, this is where things start to become a little different. One thing buried under the hood is there is a light bit of compression. I believe it's 2-to-1. Don't quote me. That's coming in on this that helps hold the stuff and glue it a little bit. It's not so much that if you're running your own compressor, it's going to destroy all your settings or something. Very light touch, but just helps glue things in. Now, other things that you can see from the front that set this apart a little bit are like this here, the EQ knob. The EQ is basically a kind of tilt EQ set at about 250 hertz, that is. And by going, back down or further up, you can kind of give an overall brightness and darkness to your sound, balancing things out. And I found that really useful. It's almost adds a preamp feature to it in that once you've added distortion and things a lot of times you really do need to EQ. And if you're really going saturated and you're getting tons of clank and it becomes overbearing, on a normal distortion, you're kind of out of luck. Here you've got something where you can sweep that in and out, add some more balls back in, or if it's just getting so thick and saturated, or you just want more definition and you're running a low distortion, dial that back up, get some more high end in, and you're back in the game as far as getting note clarity and that kind of thing. Now, the big thing that stood out for me on this one, I didn't try version 1. This is my first experience with the Ground and Pound, but it is the Ground and Pound switch. That switch is in between the original version of it, and there's an overall filter, EQ filter, that has been put in it that isn't native to the Rat pedal. but it's kind of something to kind of tailor the sound and what the designer liked. And now, through the magic of video, we have transported into the future where we're all hooked up and everything, and we can check out the stuff we were just talking about. So, got everything set at noon, arbitrary, and let's go ahead and hear where that sets us and what we have just with all that straight up. See, it's right away I like the tonal color. There's, like I said, a difference in the type of distortion that it feels different and plays different than a lot of the gear that's more common right now. So really, it's ratty, has that kind of edge to it, but there's a little finesse to it as well. So let's take a look first at that EQ and see how it shapes the sound. The thing that I like the most about it is that even at the extreme settings, none of it's unusable. A lot of times you get this ridiculous level of treble something's capable of, or insane amount of bass, and it's really not usable. It's almost like, what's the point in putting it in there? It'd be better to have a smaller sweep with, you know, something where you could dial something in more accurately. This one works really well. So again, let's get center in our ear. Bring in some top. See, it maintains the color and character, but gives a lot more bite. Let's push that all the way to the top. Great. Let's dial it back down. See, now you notice you hear less of the distortion because it's riding on that high end. It's tuned that way in the pedal. And that, as you dial off the treble, you're going to hear less of it because that's where it's affecting your tone the most. Even all the way down. See, it almost sounds like it's not distorted, it's just got some grit added to it. A little bit of edge to a good fundamental bass tone. Let's bring that back in. Set it at about 12 again. And now let's hit the stars of the show for me here. And that is the ground and pound switch. So we're in the pound position now. And what we've just been listening to, let's hear that again. Totally different character. Really interesting. And it's almost like two pedals in one. I mean, you hear the difference in between those two tones. It almost sounds like two different basses. So you can get something that's really mid-pushed and has a little honk and really is a little uglier, or something that has a much more modern style to it and has, you know, less funk to it. But I'm sure with the drive coming up, which we'll check out, it's capable of a lot more. But I mean, a quick back and forth. Yeah, that's a big difference. So really, really versatile. Again, that was a great move for Mark II. I think just definitely next leveled this pedal. So let's just mess around for a little bit with the mix and the distortion and see what it gives us. So it was like, I don't know why, I always test distortions with chords. Even though it's low and kind of gritty and ugly, it tells me where the thing sits. And I like it. Pop the switch. Got that pretty well dimed. Listen to that after kind of sing from the distortion. That to me is, you know, again, where you can really hear the character of it. And again, it's just something a little different. The best part is clarity. It's still there. So that's really a cool thing. So let's pull the mix. That's the cool thing here too, is that I find I use it in actually not really full-blown distortion settings, just as a tonal sculpt. And that's where I think it complements the bass more than just overrides it and, you know, just turns into like an old school kind of fuzz pedal. Is you can add attitude and character and really finesse the tone. And so a lot of the lower settings are ones that I actually like, but that's me. Let's bring this up. If we set that distortion really low, so you'll get just a little bit of edge to it, just a little bit behind it. We can still hear it on the tail end. So there it is. So it's just giving us those overtones. Really, really cool. Nice, I like that. Or you can get just flat out ugly. So let's try again, just using it a bit more as EQ. We're going to pull back on the distortion and on the mix a bit, and just so right there, you got something that just your bass and this, you can actually sculpt and do things that are a bit more preamp-like than just distortion pedal-like. Solid tone without putting anything else in the chain. Thanks again to Nuno from Lusithand for sending this out. I'm actually really impressed with what he's doing here, and there's going to be more coming from them on the channel. I've got a preamp that he sent my way already, and I definitely am into checking this stuff out because it's something new and interesting, and Lord knows we need it here in the bass community. So I'm going to see what he's got going and bring it to you guys. And for those of you who suggested a while back that I check them out, again, this stuff matters so much. If you see something interesting, send it my way so I can look into it. Luckily enough, Nuno got to me before I could wind up getting to him. So, very cool thing here. And so what I'm going to do now is flip the script. We're going to put this pedal into a SansAmp XB driver. So we're going to stack this as if it's going into an amp and see what like a more of a full rig situation would be. Like if you're running it into an amp you already have. SansAmp XB driver, no ridiculous settings. We're going to keep the drive really low and let them play with each other a little bit. And then that's going to go out to my mic'd up Mesa 412 Neo cabinet. And we are going to go full out metal. So that's going to wrap things up. Let me know your thoughts on this and what you think of it, and do you own one? How do you like it? Hit me up in the comments or in the chat since we're doing a premiere here. And as always, I'm really interested to hear what you think. Thanks as always for checking it out, and let's get with that metal demo, and you can hear it right